Good evening, Richmond County, and welcome to another edition of the RO Sports Show, brought to you by Richmond Community College, local college, big impact. Now, the second round state playoff rematch between the Richmond Raiders and Independence Patriots nearly had a different outcome on Thursday. It was the second year in a row the two teams met in the second round of the North Carolina High School Athletic Association's 4A West playoffs. But the number 4 Independence held off a late surge by number 13 Richmond to earn a 62-54 win in overtime. A season ago, the Raiders struggled and fell to the Patriots 58-39, also on the road. This time around, Richmond and head coach Donald Pettigrew eliminated a double-digit halftime lead, 33-21, to knot the game at 51 points at the end of regulation. Leading the charge for the Raiders was junior forward Nigel Stroman, who dropped a career-high 29 points in the loss. He was nearly even in both halves, scoring 15 points in the first two periods and added 14 points in the second half. Now, Stroman would go scoreless in the 5-minute overtime period, but junior point guard P.J. McLaughlin added the final 2 of his 10 points. Fellow junior Caleb Hood, who ended the night with 3 points, added a free throw in the extra frame. Trailing 51-48 in the closing minute of the fourth quarter, Stroman banged home the final of his team-high 5 three-pointers to tie the game with 30 seconds left. Pettigrew said they had a chance to win it after Richmond got the ball back for the final shot. Now, despite coming up short of the ultimate goal of making a deep run in the playoffs and trying to win a 4A state title, Pettigrew offered his praise to his entire team as well as the loyal Richmond fans. It's fitting that the top 2 scorers for the Richmond girls basketball team were named to the 2019-2020 All-Sandhills Athletic Conference squad. Senior point guard Kiana Love and junior guard Jayla McDougal were announced to the team on Friday, following all SAC teams being eliminated from the NCHSAA 4A state playoffs. The selection for Love made it the second of her career, having also been chosen following her sophomore season. McDougal, meanwhile, earned the accolade for the first time of her career. Running the backcourt for the Lady Raiders, Love and McDougal were an instrumental part of Richmond going 16-9 overall with a 7-7 mark against SAC opponents. That was 6 more wins than the Lady Raiders had just a season ago. Love returned to the green and gold for her senior campaign after playing at the O'Neill School during her 11th grade year. In 24 games this winter, Love led the Lady Raiders in total points scored with 357 and averaged a team-best 14.9 points per game. She would eclipse the 20-point mark 5 times, and Love netted a career-high 25 points against 71st on February 11th. McDougal wasn't far behind Love, having her best season to date by averaging 10.4 points per contest. She finished the year with 259 points scored in her 25 games. Playing against Lumberton on February 12th, McDougal recorded 7 three-pointers on her way to a career-high 25 points. She was clutch down the stretch of the season, adding 18 points against 71st and 17 points against Hope County. Taking the Player of the Year honor was Purnell Sweat freshman Kylie Chavis, who led the Lady Rams to a third-place finish in the standings. She averaged 17 points and 8.1 rebounds per game. Jack Britt head coach Natalie MacArthur was tabbed the Coach of the Year after guiding the Lady Buccaneers to a perfect 14-0 record against SAC opponents, as well as winning the SAC Tournament Championship. Alex Bowman had a new nose for the finish line Sunday at Auto Club Speedway. Driving the number 88 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet, a sleeker version of the Camaro with a new front fascia, Bowman ran away with the final stage of the Auto Club 400 at the 2-mile track in the Inland Empire. In picking up his second career victory and his first at Fontana, Bowman led 5 times for 110 of the 200 laps in the third NASCAR Cup event of the season. after Ryan Blaney, who was running second at the time, was forced to pit with 3 laps left because of a corded right rear tire. Bowman crossed the finish line nearly 9 seconds ahead of runner-up Kyle Busch, who made a solid run forward from his 17th starting position. NASCAR will close out its West Coast swing this Sunday at the newly renamed Phoenix Raceway in Avondale, Arizona. Last year's March winner was Kyle Busch, where he picked up his 200th all-time win. The green flag will drop at 3:30 p.m. Richmond's fall sports are finished, and all of the focus now turns to the start of the spring season. It's all up next. First, a word from Richmond Community College.
Do you want a healthcare career? Certified medical assistants are multi-skilled healthcare professionals capable of completing administrative and clerical tasks, making them a valuable member of the healthcare team at medical clinics, doctors' offices, and other healthcare facilities. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the employment of medical assistants is projected to grow 23% over the next 8 years, much faster than the national average. At Richmond Community College, our medical assisting students are trained in our cutting-edge Simulation Learning Center, giving them hands-on experience with high-fidelity mannequins that simulate real-life patient interaction. In addition to clinical skills, our students also receive instruction in scheduling appointments, coding, processing insurance accounts, billing, collections, and medical transcription. Complete the medical assisting program in just 2 years and start your lifelong career today. Visit www.richmondcc.edu to learn more about enrolling in the medical assisting program at Richmond Community College, or call 910-410-1700.
The scores of Saturday's 2 scrimmages weren't the focus for the Richmond girls soccer team. Battling the blustery conditions at the Hoke County Jamboree, the Lady Raiders and head coach Chris Larson competed in 2 preseason games against Grace Creek and Purnell Sweat. Playing 2 20-minute halves in each contest, the Lady Raiders split with the Lady Bears and Lady Rams. Richmond fell short 2-0 against Grace Creek, while 3 different goal scorers helped them defeat conference opponent Purnell Sweat 3-1. Larson explained the scores weren't indicative of how his team will play this season, although he was pleased with the effort given by his 23-player roster. Between the 80 minutes of combined playing time, Larson played and moved nearly all of his players around to different positions on the field. The Lady Raiders had a film session Saturday night, and they would use that as final preparation for the regular season opener on Monday at non-conference Southern Lee. Both teams struggled to find the back of the net. Playing on the road, the Lady Raiders finished the 80 minutes of play in a scoreless tie with the Lady Cavaliers. Per NCHSAA rules, non-conference games do not go into overtime or penalty kicks. In the first half, junior forward Jayla McDougall and sophomore forward Caitlin Huff each directed a shot that hit off the post. Senior midfielder Carly Lambeth also landed a shot on frame, but saw the ball deflected by the keeper. Southern Lee couldn't adjust to Richmond's defense and was whistled for over a dozen offside calls. Larson noted the majority coming in the first 40 minutes. Larson also said that junior goalkeeper Kelly Hoffman had a few good saves coming off her line to disrupt the flow of Southern Lee's attack. She made a save on a corner kick late in the second half to keep the game scoreless. Richmond will now look to add its first win of the season when it hosts Purnell Sweat in its home opener, first SAC game on Friday. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. A 6th inning rally by the Richmond Raider baseball team was undone by 2 late errors in Monday's season opener against Anson. The Raiders erased a 2-run deficit in the 5th and 6th innings, but ultimately fell 4-3 to the Bearcats in head coach Rob Ransom's debut as skipper. Anson scored 2 runs off of starting pitcher Luke Pressler in the top of the 3rd inning, one of which was unearned, and carried that lead into the bottom of the 5th. Ethan Curry and Rannick Little combined to no-hit the Raiders until Michael Pettit looped a double down the right field line with 1 out in the 5th. 2 wild pitches by Little over the next 2 at-bats allowed Pettit to trot home safely and cut the deficit to 1 run at 2-1. Richmond battled back in the bottom of the 7th, loading the bases with just 1 out, but Anson relief pitcher Wesley Lear recorded back-to-back strikeouts to end the game. Way was credited with the loss, but Ransom said he did a great job throwing strikes and helped swing the momentum in the middle innings. The sophomore struck out 6 batters and allowed just 1 hit during his relief outing. And that's going to do it for another edition of the RO Sports Show, brought to you by Richmond Community College. For the latest and breaking sports stories here in Richmond County, you can always visit richmondobserver.com and click on the Sports tab. You can also find some exclusive things across all of the RO Sports social media. And of course, be sure to tune in for Ross at 5:30 every Thursday evening for your Raider wrap-up. In the meantime, I'm Matt Harrelson reporting from the Richmond studio in downtown Rockingham. Have a great week.